I'm going to walk you through my conversion rate optimization process and how we applied it to an existing client, specifically on their pricing page. We know that higher conversion rates lead to lower cost per acquisition, and lower cost per acquisition means your paid media runs a lot more efficiently, and that means you can scale a lot faster. So why not do everything that you can do that's within your control to increase your conversion rates? So getting into the framework, I think a lot of people tend to overcomplicate it, but it's actually really simple. Every high converting page, regardless of industry or product, does 4 things really, really well. It knows the objective of the page, it understands who it's speaking to, it makes the offer irresistible to that person, and it removes the psychological as well as physical barriers, stopping them from converting. I'm going to go through each point in more detail and show you exactly how to execute each one of them. So number 1 is understanding the objective of the page. This sounds really obvious, but most pages try to do too many things at once. It tries to educate, it tries to impress, it tries to inform, it tries to convert. The more jobs a page has, the worse it does at all of them. So you got to get specific. For a pricing page in particular, the objective is to communicate the pricing tiers clearly so that there's no confusion. Make it easy for the right prospect to identify which pricing tier fits them. And the third is just to get them to click a button. And by button, I don't mean any button. I mean a button that ties directly to the objective of the page. So that could be booking a demo, starting a free trial, or just contacting the team. Everything on the page should serve one of those 3 things. If it doesn't, it's probably a distraction and it's probably not needed on the page. So the second thing is understanding who we're speaking to. There's no way that you can write a compelling page for somebody that you don't understand. So the copy, the offer, the structure, the objection handling, all of it comes to knowing your prospect really, really well. So how do you get to know your prospect? One way is to talk to your existing customers. What made them sign up? What almost stopped them from signing up? Reading your reviews and your support tickets, people tell you exactly what they're worried about. Go through competitor reviews, especially the negative ones, because they reveal so much gold. They reveal unmet needs that you can address directly on your page. Look at how your best customers describe the product in their own words. You've got to mirror the language that your customers use in your own copy. I think this is a mistake that a lot of businesses make, is that they use their industry and technical language on the page, and it confuses the prospect. You want to use easy to understand language, and you want to use the language that your prospects use. So instead of things like pixel integration, you could say something like, understand exactly where your leads are coming from. Not everybody knows what a pixel integration is. For this client in particular, the prospect was a real estate investor. Typically somebody already paying 3 to 5 separate tools, and they're frustrated with the fragmentation. That one insight alone shaped a lot of things for us on this page. So the headline, the comparison framing, the tier structure, it led us to this headline right here, which is one app to replace every tool. And we call out how much they're spending each month on the 3 to 5 different tools. We call out their current situation. So they're paying $200 to $500 a month across 3 to 5 disconnected tools. Why do that when you can have one app, one price that's more affordable, and it replaces all of your tools? Sounds great. The third one is to make the offer irresistible. I think we hear this so much, but nobody really talks about how you make an offer irresistible. What makes an offer irresistible? It's not just a good product or service at a reasonable price. If the only thing that your product or service is competing on is price, then you're leaving a lot of prospects on the table. An irresistible offer is a product or service where the value is so obvious and the entry point so low risk that saying no feels like the harder choice. So what makes an offer irresistible specifically on a pricing page? Number 1, the value is immediately clear. Within seconds of landing, the prospect should know what they're getting and why it's worth paying for. If they have to read the whole page to figure that out, then your offer isn't landing. Number 2, the tiers are differentiated by customer type. You should know that all of your customers and all of your prospects aren't all the same. They most likely could be bucketed into different segments. So each pricing tier should speak to a different kind of buyer. For example, this pricing tier is for somebody who's just getting started, or this pricing tier is for somebody who's scaling a team. Next one is a clear anchor. Most people don't choose in isolation, they compare. So a most popular flag or a recommended badge really helps guide the decision without forcing it. The next point I think is really important if you have a free tier. The free tier exists to convert people into a paid tier. It doesn't exist because you're offering a free product. That's not how you're going to make money. It exists for one objective, and it's to convince people to upgrade to a paid tier. It's really, really important to nail. A free tier should give somebody enough to see the value, then they hit a wall at the exact moment they want to do something that matters to them. If they can run their whole operation on the free tier, you remove the reason to upgrade and you're just offering a free product or service, which is obviously not how you make money. So for this client, the free tier included the full map suite. It was essentially the core product. It had unlimited users, a website builder, a full CRM stack. A prospect could realistically run their whole business on the free tier. That's not a free tier. That's a free product. The free tier needs to exist with the sole objective of getting people to upgrade to the paid tier. That's it. Number 4 is remove the objections. And we need to think about the objections in the form of psychological objections and physical objections. Even when somebody wants to buy, something is stopping them, always. Your job is to figure out what that is and address it before they even think about it. So as I mentioned, objections fall into 2 buckets, psychological and physical. Psychological objections. So what are people thinking about that makes them hesitant to complete the purchase? So we've got trust, we've got pre-purchase anxiety, we've got during purchase anxiety, and we've got post-purchase anxiety. So trust, is the brand credible? Do they have a track record? Do they have social proof, reviews, testimonials? One thing about social proof is that you gotta make it specific to your prospect. I see a lot of businesses put up generic 5-star quotes from just random people, but testimonials from people who are similar to your prospect will convert a lot better. So proof that other people just like them, not just any customers, but people in a similar situation, trust this brand, because people trust people in similar situations to them. So pre-purchase anxiety. Before they make a purchase, they're thinking, is this the right product for me? So you want to address this with clear tier descriptions and right for you if language. So this tier is right for you if you operate a team of 1 to 5 people. This tier is right for you if you operate a team of 5 to 10 people. It makes the decision a lot easier for the prospect. We want to justify the price relative to what it replaces or what it would cost to get the same result another way. This example, one of the strongest arguments was that replacing 3 to 5 tools at $200 to $500 a month. This was buried in the FAQ section for some reason. So we pulled that out and placed it way higher up in the page. Am I locked in? If I make this purchase, am I locked in? Is there a free trial, a monthly option, or a cancellation policy that you can mention and remind people so that they're not afraid of making the purchase? During purchase anxiety, what are people thinking about while they're making a purchase? Is their payment safe? Can we put trust badges and secure checkout signals and recognizable payment processors to reassure your prospect that it's okay to go through this checkout? What happens after I click? What happens after I make the payment? People tend to hesitate because they don't know what comes next. So we need to guide them through their purchase journey. Hey, you're going to be taking a checkout, no commitment required. You can get your money back guarantee, etc. Are other people like me using this? Again, they want to be reassured that other people just like them have gone through this exact same process. So can you place social proof directly under the pricing cards during checkout? Reassure them that nothing bad's gonna happen. Post-purchase anxiety. What do they think about after they've made the purchase? What if it doesn't work for me? Well, a money-back guarantee or free trial period removes the risk of being wrong. Will I get support if I'm stuck? Surface your support offering, live chat, onboarding, response times. Did I choose the right plan? Reassure them that they can upgrade or downgrade. We want to remove the feeling of finality from the decision. People are afraid of permanence, especially when it's tied to making a big purchase. Okay, so physical objections, i.e. the structural and design barriers on the page itself. So things like the visual hierarchy and layout. The eyes need a clear path, headline, value prop, tiers, CTA. If there's no flow, people skim and miss what actually matters. Too much text, too dense. People don't really read pricing pages in that much detail, they scan. So if the important stuff isn't obvious at a glance, it's not getting read. The other thing with pricing tiers is you want to put the most important features for the prospect first. Sounds obvious, but the things that they don't really care about can go to the bottom. But the things that matter to them the most needs to be highlighted first. CTA buttons need to stand out. If it blends into the page, it obviously will get missed and not get clicked. What's happening above the fold? Most people won't scroll. That's just real data. A lot of people won't scroll below the fold. If there's nothing compelling before the fold, they're gone. So what's happening above the fold? We need to put the most compelling things above the fold, otherwise people are just gonna bounce. You've got to nail the headline because it's doing the heavy lifting. It's doing most of the work and it needs to be outcome-led, not a generic label like simple pricing. We know we're about to look at the pricing for the product Simple pricing is just redundant. This was the client's headline before, and this is the client's headline after. So one app to replace every tool versus simple pricing. I want to make it scannable and easy to understand in a few short words. So little things like defaults and toggles. If you have a monthly or annual toggle, default to annual, the lower cost is obviously more appealing. Users have to flick that toggle to monthly to see that it's more expensive if they were to commit on a monthly basis. But the monthly is obviously also appealing because they're not locked into an annual payment. Again, with a recommended badge or the most popular badge, if you could pre-select the recommended tier, it'll reduce the number of decisions that the user has to make. So speed and mobile, obviously really important. Slow pages lose people before they even see anything. So imagine driving a bunch of traffic to your page for your page not to even load properly. You've wasted a lot of time and effort and advertising spend. The next point is a given. We want to make sure that your page is responsive so it looks good on desktop and mobile. So jumping into how we applied the framework to our existing client. One issue we saw was that the offer wasn't structured to convert, so the two highest tiers were almost identical. The only differences were really very minor. So there was a $200 per month price gap with no qualitative differentiation. There was no real reason for a prospect to ever jump on to the highest tier. So we needed to either add something exclusive to the top tier, like priority support or onboarding or whatever it is, or reduce the capabilities of the cheaper tier. 2, the free tier was way too generous. The free tier included pretty much the core product, and a prospect can run their whole operation on the free tier and never need to upgrade. Number 3, the page wasn't removing objections at the right moments. So for example, the headline was simple pricing, so that's not built for conversion and it's not outcome-based language. There are no trust signals, no social proof, no recommendation badge, no guidance on helping the user make a decision. So why does all this matter before you spend $1 on traffic? So applying this framework puts the team in a better position to drive significant traffic to the page because we're not in as much risk as we were before of wasting money due to low conversion rates. We know that better conversion rates means a lower cost to acquire a customer, and lower CAC means that you can spend more, scale faster, and the whole paid acquisition engine becomes more efficient. Once the framework is applied and traffic is flowing, that's when you can layer tools like Microsoft Clarity, which gives you visual data on how users are behaving, where they drop off, what they're ignoring, what they're clicking on. But those insights are only useful once the foundations are right. So we want to get the CRO fundamentals right first before we start driving traffic to the page.